Well, hello there. This is Glenn, and this is Sauna Talk. And today on the bench, we welcome, well, this is kind of the virtual sauna bench. We welcome Charlie from Community Sauna Baths in England. Technology, it kind of allows us cross-continental, long-distance communication. But as you guys know, I really like to do this podcast on the sauna bench. It really opens up a lot of wonderful conversation, oneness. We are all one on sauna bench. We know that there are no titles on the bench, and we get into the spirit on this episode with Charlie. I feel one with him, even though we're across a big ocean. Who is Community Sauna Baths? Well, they are a community interest company, that's a CIC, and who is dedicated to providing affordable sauna sessions to the communities they serve. Currently with 4 locations, including their flagship locale in Hackney, East London. And point of note, I lived in East London for a while. I lived in London as a college student and stayed on after. So I know the Central Line heading east on the tube. And I know Hackney. It's just an amazing thing. What the world is small as it relates to sauna, and it is small as it relates to my life. And I don't know if you guys have been to London, but I hope this podcast gives you a little bit of a spirit of what it's like to dig sauna and to dig sauna in the big city of London, England. So here's we catch up with Charlie, and he is one of the directors at Community Sauna Baths. And currently, Community Sauna Baths are serving thousands of customers from the area, local Londoners, as well as a lot of visitors from abroad, people from Ireland, some Finns, you name it. It reminds me a lot of Sampo Sauna in Helsinki, where people converge, from backpackers to travelers to students to professors to business people, who you name it, across cultural section, cross demographic section of people. So early influences. As you'll hear, Charlie grew up with the classic toaster oven sauna experience at health clubs. Then he was deeply affected to the positive, partaking in sauna at the Finnish Church and also Lost Horizons, the pop-up social sauna in London. Feeling a tug to help advance the social communal experience, Charlie leaned into helping with the ambitious Hackney Baths fundraising project, spearheaded and founded initially with the British Sauna Society. And that's Mika and Wendy, who are also guests to Sauna Talk. Mika and Wendy founded the British Sauna Society and really kind of put forward this idea about a community sauna and raising money for Hackney Baths. The fundraising came up short, but it did pave the way towards a more organic project. 2 donated saunas and 1 from Charlie himself as the incubator in the beginning of Community Sauna Baths. We talk about countless hours of donated time to host sessions, how they are learning as they are going, starting slow by serving random members of the public in Hackney, London, and with slow organic growth, they were able to add more days, modify and improve the site, and we also visit with speak about Victoria and Gabriella building the website and marketing. So the Community Sauna Baths today, the staff provides a real nice blend of skills. Part of the beauty is that good heat and cold does most of the heavy lifting. Staff supports the good heat and cold, and people benefit from and enjoy the experience. So looking to grow, Charlie is helping work on a new site, and we learn about the South London project in Peckham as part of the community garden, bringing saunas into natural spots in London. The 4th one is in Normandy, and that's Rob's project, the first beach sauna in France. So it's in the UK, It's affordable and it's inclusive. And I tease out a little bit of information on this podcast about the mission statement in the bylaws of Community Sauna Baths, how it is written in there that money is donated to good causes. And I just want to share some figures. The Glengall Wharf Community Garden, 2,000 pounds. Global Generation, 3,200 pounds. Medical Aid Palestine, 2,210 pounds. And one dear to my heart, Sauna Aid, 13,000 pounds. This is remarkable stuff. This is really my spirit of sauna, how like good heat, it's a candle that lights another candle. And you get to hear, like in the spirit, how Community Sauna Baths is carrying that ethos forward with actual donations, actual monetary donations, as well as good heat. So without further ado, thanks for listening and enjoying. I hope you get to enjoy my time with Charlie from Community Sauna Baths. This show is brought to you by the Sauna Times Consultation Program. Are you or someone you know facing some decisions about building or hiring to build a sauna? Are you perhaps afraid to move forward because of the know-it-all pedantic chatter on those internet sauna forums? Well, Aristotle said, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. And nobody knows less than me. I've been building saunas for 30 years, and through every consult, I meet you with an open mind with the ultimate goal of helping you realize your authentic sauna dreams. I can help with your sauna heater choice and help break some ties with a possible loved one. I have a PhD in sauna building diplomacy, and the doctor is in. I've seen it all, and then some, and have some bandwidth to help you too. Interested? Please go to saunatimes.com and click the consultation link at the top of the page. Now, on to the show. Charlie, welcome to Sauna Talk. We got it going on. Where does this call find you right now?
Yeah, I'm calling you from sunny or very grey Hackney Wick in London. We're just at the office of our flagship site.
Fantastic. And that's just, is it south? Tell us where in London Hackney is.
So Hackney is East London. We're right a stone's throw from where the Olympic Games was held. So this area here in Stratford, where we've got another site, is an area where there's a lot going on. The Olympics 2012, a lot of artists and creative stuff going on. And it's a good place to be.
Beautiful. Are the saunas working right now? And how many saunas are over your shoulder?
Yeah, so they are operating right now in Stratford and Hackney. So we've got, I think, 10 saunas fired up right now. Mm-hmm. And then yesterday we had another couple in South London. So we had 12 saunas firing, and then also one in Normandy. So I think over the weekend we've got 13 or 14 saunas firing with potentially over 100 people in the sauna at any one time.
Amazing. So and at the facility in Hackney, right where you're sitting, how many saunas are on location?
We've got 6 or 7 in operation. I think one might be down at the moment. And we've got 2 ones being built in our yard as well, which is on this site. So 2 new big ones that are going to be ready in time for the Saunaverse Festival on the 27th of April.
Wow, that's fantastic. So if I'm a guest do you call it the community bath, or what's the name of the facility where you are right now?
So we are, the Hackney Wake Community Sauna. So we put the place name first, and then it's Community Sauna. That's that's the way we're naming the sites.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how much is it if I were a guest to come to your facility right where you are right now?
So right now, at the Hackney site, we range from £8.50 to £15, depending on the length and the time, and that's our base rate. We operate like a variety of concessions and free sessions for various different groups. Mm-hmm. So that's the model. That's the pricing model we have for our permanent sites, and then for our pop-up sites, that's like South London, we'll have a waged and unwaged options. £6 to enter unwaged and £10 waged.
And just
and the pricing is designed.
For those listening,
Sorry.
waged and unwaged is a wonderful British term for employed or not employed. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And there's an option, another option abundant to add a little bit extra on top as well. But the pricing up employed or unemployed, or I think unwaged also kind of covers people maybe who are not doing so much or don't have as much disposable income. So it's meant to be inclusive, essentially. We want as many people coming. And for those pop-up sites, if people want to email in, if they still can't access the sauna, then we'll find a way for them to come in, either discounted more or in another way.
So waged or unwaged, do I reserve my spot via the website, or how is that managed?
So it's all via the website, and that is just self-diagnosed essentially if you're unwaged or waged.
Yeah, right
and
on.
what we find, most people select the waged option. I think there's most people will select that, and we appreciate that because we do need those higher wage tickets to run the business and to run as a not-for-profit and pay all our costs.
So I have my slot at say 4 p.m. on a Friday, and then I come down. And is it free flow? In other words, I pick the sauna I want to hang out in, and off I go.
That's it. So you have a time slot, and then there's 2 saunas, maybe in Peckham, and in Hackney I'll have 6 or 7 saunas, and Stratford 3, and you can just go between the ones. We try and maintain a range of temperatures. Not always super straightforward with wood-fired to kind of maintain a real consistent, different exact temperature across saunas, but they have their different characters. There's no uniformity to them. So yeah, there's different styles, different temperatures.
Yeah. Free flow is the spirit. You come in, you sauna, and you get on the bench where you want. How is the cold? I'm getting all technical, and we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the baths and stuff. And prior to that, how is the cold managed on site? The cool down.
That's been a major project of ours over the last couple of years, bringing in the cold exposure when you're not in winter and cooling down the water. So myself, Omar, who's in charge of our water on our side, and then Urban Ice Tribe, Ryan Abbott, who runs that. We've all been working together using water cooling systems and chillers that we have outside that are chilling and filtering and cleaning the water with UV and other filter mediums to make sure that we're getting people into the water single digits and below 10 degrees. So there's that contrast therapy. There's that contrast between the sauna. That's super important for us. And as a kind of grassroots community organization, it's been a big learning curve, that working with water and some of the machinery we've had to use. But Ryan and Omar have done an absolutely fantastic job. So big shout out to those 2.
Beautiful job. It's almost as if the heat is easier than the cold.
Yeah, the heat really is a lot easier than the cold. Much easier. That's not to kind of dismiss active fire management and being a good firekeeper are our skills. But doing the water requires a level of technical equipment, and that's maybe a little trickier.
Right on, brother. Sounds great. So, Charlie, a little bit about your background. Tell us how sauna came to you, or you came to sauna, growing up, and then how this this project came to you, and give us a little time log of that, if you could.
Yeah, sure thing. So I've been sauning as long as I can remember. I would have started sauning with my dad, my brother. We would have been playing tennis or squash at the local sports club, and there tends to be a little sauna electric box in there. I don't think there's even rocks to put the water on, but you go in there after a game, and it would be a really nice bookend with your family, just to relax and chat. And not properly sauna culture with the contrasting or anything like this, but always a fond appreciation for that bit of sauna. And I carried that forward into my adolescence and early adulthood, when I'd always search out saunas in London, or when I abroad, try and find a good sauna spot. And then I stumbled across a couple of saunas in London that really changed my perception of sauna. The Magic Garden, they hosted Sauna by Lost Horizons, which is a fundraising kind of party sauna, magic experience, like everyone buzzing, and the real magic of sauna that like you'll only know if you've been chit-chatting in a sauna and talking to strangers, and like it was a clothing optional one, and it was just mind-blowing. And then the Finnish Church and Rotherhithe, again, a more like authentic Finnish experience. But from that moment on, I knew that I needed to kind of do something in the space, that there needed to be more spaces like that. And in the city that I grew up in, there just wasn't enough. Fast forward to COVID, we're coming out, and I bored my ex-girlfriend silly about talking about sauna members clubs and this project that I wanted to start. And coincidentally, the project that I'm involved with now was doing a fundraiser. My friend Gabrielle has pointed me in the direction of this, and I've donated some money, and I think you might have done as well. And I've emailed in saying, how can I help? Like, we need to get this. I can help, and some of my skills, my job as a consultant, and my kind of financial and accounting kind of experience might be of help. And they brought me on, and before I knew it, I was a director, basically in exchange for working for free quite a lot. And that's kind of how it looks. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, something a bit more like a.
Love the story. And the title was Hackney Baths Community Sauna at the time, right? When the fundraising project was initiated.
Yeah, that's it. Because I think initially it was a BSS fundraiser, the
British Sauna Society. Yep.
Yeah, the British Sauna Society. And there was, it was put in Hackney, I think, because it's a very creative area. There's the baths here. And then there's also a boating community, and they don't often have access to kind of showers and bathing. So there was a nice tie-in.
Yeah.
That was, I think, the initial idea.
Great.
But yeah, they were right. It was the Hackney thing, and there was a big fundraiser. We tried to raise 150 grand, very ambitious. Which I think I look back and I smile, like wildly ambitious to raise that sort of money. Before the kind of like hype of sauna really had kicked off, which as we've seen in the last couple of years. But yeah, we didn't get it. But what we did get was a lot of networking, a lot of opportunity and relationships, and we got access to the site we have now. And that enabled us to bootstrap, to email the people who committed and pledged some money, including myself, and saying, hey guys, do you want to put like 50 quid in? We've got a site. We don't need 150,000. We need 5K. And I put a sauna in. I bought a sauna myself personally to put into the project. And Victoria, my co-director at the time, she had a lovely 20-person sauna that we wheeled in. She lent as well. And next thing you know, we're operating every Sunday, and it's just mind blowing, really. In this, we cleared out the yard. It was a bit of a junk yard after COVID because no one had been able to use it. And yeah, we were saunaing.
Fantastic.
And it really was
with two saunas at that time. One each donated to the cause, pretty much.
Yeah, so they were lent at the time, definitely. So for the first like 5-6 months, they were like essentially given for free to use. And yeah, the staffing was myself, Gabrielle Og, Rob, my co-director, who's still there, and Victoria. We come down, we donate our time, volunteer to kind of host the sessions, and kind of really learning as we're going, like this new site. And looking back, like I think the first time we sold out the session, which would have been 12 people, we were just like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
I can't believe beautiful. Yeah. And that would have been. Sorry, Charlie, that was 2021 when you first sold out, or is that right? Or just pulling out of COVID?
Yeah, so the company set up in 2021 March, or maybe a bit earlier, and then there was fundraising, or the kind of trying to find a site for basically the whole of the year. And we found our site in November 2021, and we had our first session in December 2021. And that was when we first had random members of the public coming to our sauna, and a few of those people on that very first session still coming every week.
Fantastic.
Which is amazing.
So there you are. You sold out your first session. Big high five. And then growing organically from there, like once word of mouth, or how to. And then the saunas grew as demand grew. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the trajectory from that period.
Yes, it's word of. It was we started operating on a Sunday, And then after a few weeks, we're like, okay, there is like quite a few people coming in. We had no funding; it was all money just from ticket sales. And we decided to go to Saturday, and then after a few weeks to Friday, and it was a slow organic growth in that respect of like opening additional days and word of mouth and people coming back. And every week the site would be changed, so we modify it or improve it or put the money in to kind of to make the site better. And it was just growing by word of mouth. We were getting some good press mentions, but it was all organic growth. And Victoria Maddox, she did a fantastic job, like hosting the sauna. Gabrielle Reason, she's BSS. She was doing an amazing job building our website and marketing. I was doing more of the boring stuff in the back with the like business side, and then Rob and Arg on site as well. It was like a real nice blend of skills, and everyone kind of contributed to this like passion project.
Thank you. Awesome. Today you mentioned 12 saunas right where you're sitting. No, 6 saunas right where you're sitting in Hackney. Is that right?
That's right. We got a blend of like, we've got a big 20-person sauna, and then we've got a mix of smaller kind of 6 to 10-person saunas. It's a bit of a hodgepodge. It's an organic thing. We've inherited saunas, we bought saunas, we had them built, and so it's not a consistent, homogenous type of sauna that you'll find. They've all got their own quirks and different experiences, and people have their favorites. But yeah, part of the beauty of the site, we think, it's just it's very unpolished.
Yeah, love that. Thank you for that. Part of the beauty of the site is that it's unpolished. I couldn't agree more. I think if I could, for guests coming, maybe even the first time or continue, ongoing guests, the fact that it's unpolished gives it a natural feel so that people don't have to feel that they're on stage or that it's some performance. It's probably quite disarming for guests just to show up and chill.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, and for me, I'm just really focused on, we want a good heat, a good cold, and for it to be a relaxing experience with staff, and that's what I really want people to have. And like the cold and the hot, to use a cheesy phrase, that does the heavy lifting for us. If we're like focusing on that clean and safe environment, then that's brilliant. People are going to enjoy it.
Lovely, lovely. So, you mentioned 3 facilities now, 3, and then there's one in northwest France in Normandy.
Yes.
Tell us about this whole growth, if you would, in terms of other locations from beyond Hackney.
Yeah, that's so we're looking to grow. Essentially, we have a new site in Stratford that opened in December last year. That's on a meanwhile use space, which means that a developer has bought the land and they're waiting for planning permission. So we've got a really super landlord, Hadley Property Development Group, that they own the land, and they put us on a social value lease, which means we don't pay rent, but in exchange we bringing in a community benefit and working with the community to kind of give sauna access, and there's been an amazing partnership. We're really loving working with them. And then in South London, we've just opened a site in a community garden in Peckham, which is another kind of type of offering we have, working with these gardens that are mainly volunteer based and putting saunas into these natural spots in London and bringing in money and volunteers and people to these sites that maybe are struggling a little bit for funding and for people, and we think it's a really nice partnership and like example of cooperation on what sauna can bring to local communities. And that fourth one in Normandy, my co-director Rob, he is half French, and he runs a festival out in a village in France. And he took a sauna out there last year for the festival, and then he's left it there, and they've let him put it on the beach. So I think it's the first beach sauna in France. Actually, they're a little bit behind the UK.
Yeah. Charlie, I was going to ask you about that. What is up with the French? I mean, like, you look at this explosion in Great Britain and in France. I mean, are they just kind of like, riding their bike with a baguette and some wine and kind of missing the sauna boat, or what's shaking on down there?
That is it. I think so. Chatting with Rob, I don't know, without like stereotyping too much, I think the French are maybe a little more our own culture, so to speak. I think us British, we're always looking and maybe the US is similar as well. They're like very looking to other cultures to embrace new ideas and try new things. And I think some maybe countries in Europe like to kind of stick to what they know. So that's what's happening in France. Rob's report from the footage is that there's people are warming to it. Excuse the pun.
Right.
But yeah, there's not really any on that whole coast. So potentially there's an opportunity there, because if you look at the UK and mobile sauna on the beach, it's gone absolutely bonkers. There's hundreds of them now. And France has got a lot of coast. So.
Yeah. So Charlie, take a pause on that for a moment. This is fact. There are hundreds of saunas that are open to public reservation around the coast of Great Britain. Did I get that right?
So I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm on a WhatsApp group, and there's more and more opening on beaches around beaches and coastal areas around the UK all the time. It's like a really strong use case. What there isn't is many urban saunas, and that's what we're really focused on. That is a bit of a trickier setup process due to a variety of factors, but lots and lots of stuff by the coast, and there's a really thriving community. But most people don't live by the coast in the UK, so we think if we want to make an impact and really change UK bathing culture, we need to get saunas open in main and community saunas, affordable, inclusive, and accessible saunas into urban spots.
Switching gears a little bit. So tell us about your professional background and in this like you get a paycheck. Is this your full-time gig? So give us a little bit about your background and what's happening with you career-wise today.
Yeah. So career-wise, I didn't finish university, and I came out of university a bit lost actually, and I was working with my dad for a while, helping him out, and I had a good break, and I ended up becoming a management consultant for an apprenticeship for one of the big like firms in London and in the world, PwC, and so I was doing that apprenticeship there, and I was there for 5-6 years. It was a great learning experience, but for me, like working in a big company and all those rules and stuff, maybe not for me long term. So I was doing that, and I picked up a bunch of things that I think were pretty useful for working in small companies or startups or in environments like this. And I then set out by myself to do some freelance consulting, and in that time I was doing various little bits and bobs. I started a mushroom farm. I dabbled in the sauna project at the start. I was working with a bunch of different people, including the drinks brand Agua de Madre that I was on the previous Zoom, and that's just really allowed me to slowly increase the amount of time I spent on this sauna project. Whereas to the point now, I'm full time, definitely full time, and I'm able to pay myself a salary. All of our staff in the business though are paid above London living wage. It's a not-for-profit, but I think there's a confusion around that, like phrase, like not-for-profit doesn't mean people volunteer their time or do it for free. We really like to have well-paying jobs for our staff, and everyone what they're paid is kind of known within the team, and that's the beauty, I think, like what we do. It does pay, and it does kind of like it is self-funded.
Beautiful. And it is not only self-funded, but you guys are philanthropic in your ways. You've been a big supporter of the Sauna Aid initiative and organization, and donated, some donated profits. Tell us about that. Is it in the bylaws? Who makes the decision on what to give? And a big thank you on behalf of Sauna Aid for your donations.
No, you're welcome. So then, as a CIC, essentially, that's a CIC for people who know is a community interest company. It's a UK company structure that sits between a charity and basically a private limited. So we still have a commercial mind, but we basically have a not-for-profit directive, and we have a specific community that we want to serve. That's stated in our company information, and that is the sauna community. So Sauna Aid really makes sense for us to basically fundraise for that, to be able to give some of our profits to that cause, or profits from those sessions, and that's specifically accounted for in the fact that like it is serving our community. So we're able to allocate funds to that as well. And that was myself, Rob, and Victoria, I believe, was with us at the time. That would have been just a decision from us, and a no-brainer, really. Like that's something we want to support. And it also, slight change of tack, allows us to do the work we're doing in Bristol. We've just funded a new community sauna. We've given them a grant, and we've loaned them a brand new sauna, which they're going to buy off us over 5 years. So that's using our profits as well. It's a completely separate company, CIC. I'm not a director, and we're able to just see these saunas across the UK using the money that we've made here.
Wow.
So we think it's a really nice model.
That's beautiful. So, not to sound too simplistic about it, but with retained earnings or residual profits, there is the philanthropic arm, where an organization like Sauna Aid. You were very generous in that, and I want to give that shout out, number one. But also number two is you mentioned using profits to seed new sauna businesses. How does that fit? Like, are you creating what we in America call saunapreneurs, or would someone take the funds and then pay them back, and be part of the umbrella organization that you work for?
So we want to do things a little differently. So it's not a kind of classic entrepreneurial or investment play. So with Bristol, the people that we're looking for are existing organizations or locations that can put sauna onto them already, and maybe existing community organizations. So Bristol is a community center. They had a space, and they said they were setting up, and we said, like, well, we can help with the heavy lifting and some of the finance and some of the knowledge stuff. And so we were able to enable an existing organization.
Oh, great.
And the expectation on our side is that that these organizations, these people we're seeding, they're joining the community sauna network, and it's not super prescriptive, but that people contribute back into the network to start others. So we're doing that to them, and there's an expectation that they're going to be there for the next one, or they'll make a contribution to, say, when Leeds wants their sauna, or Birmingham. We've already got Bristol and London, and we can help the next city. But what I really like is the autonomy. These places are separate. There's no top-down directive. There's no like fixed stuff going. We just want more community sauna, more not-for-profit sauna, and that's the only thing we're really focused on.
So no profits back to corporate.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think like there are no profits. It's not a franchise model. There's no profits back to corporate. There's
no corporate meetings and bylaws, and you're not creating a vice president role that travels around and makes sure things are up to snuff.
No, that's not it. Like what we do have, which may be similar to that, is the separate CIC, which we're going to be launching in a couple of weeks, which all people can be a member of. One member, one vote. And so those contributions I was talking about for other ones can be centrally held, and that money is just for basically seeding other companies, and it's not a prescriptive franchise fee or anything like that. It's more like pay what you can, and just a pool.
Charlie, as an American, sorry to interrupt you, but as an American, I mean, I have to, like, how does this work? Like, how is it working? How are you able to maintain this spirit, like the spirit of trust and contribution and philanthropy, and goodness? And I say this because I come from a country that is known globally as being capitalistic, right? Like everything is a profit model, and there's organization and structure, and that's why I was kind of joking about that. But give us a little flavor. How are you able to do this magic and keep it pure and wholesome and from the heart is what I'm sensing.
Yeah, so The first thing is maybe it will change down the line and we'll lose some of that. But the heavy lifting for us, in my view, is done by this company structure, the CIC, which is, I think it's a really useful structure. It enables us to be dynamic, to be commercial, and to use a lot of the structures and the business tools that like people are familiar with. But it keeps us just focused by law to a certain purpose, and the fact that we can't pay dividends, we can't pay shareholders. So it just means that people are focused, and if you want to come into this, it's because you want a sauna basically, and you want to be part of something like this. And the other flip side to it is we pay people well, essentially. Like when it's not like lavishly, but like if you come in here, we try and pay people as well as we can. If you're in the marketing, if you're in a sauna manager, if you're a sauna host, like we're looking to pay people well, so it's not a sacrifice to come and do something cool or work in this space. So I think that's quite a big thing as well.
Right. I'm drawn to the British band XTC and their wonderful song "Love on a Farm Boy's Wages," and it's love of sauna, but you're hopefully not doing this for for free or a farm boy's wages, right?
No. So it's I think London's an expensive city to live in. We do have the London living wage, which we pay above. I mean, you can't say it's like loads and loads of money, but it is meant to be enough to kind of get.
So thank you for all of this backstory. I'm fascinated, as you can tell, Charlie. I mean, letting us in behind the curtain of the operations of what you're doing and how you're growing is really it's special. It's very unique. I've never heard of it working in other areas, at least in my country. I'm sure it must exist, this idea of growing without franchising and growing with a cause, this duality. And I also want to call out this concept of, good sauna is like a candle that lights another candle. And you're an
Yeah.
exhibit of that, where you're creating the seed, for a community to grow with sauna, and then paying it forward to another community to light another good candle. Very special. I mean, I'm touched, and I'm glad to share this process with others, like and maybe this could also be a candle that lights another candle for other communities, not just in your country, but other places in the world. So big up to you,
Yeah.
man, and making this magic happen.
Awesome.
Tell us, I'm going to switch gears. Are we cool? Anything else on the work?
Yeah, I think that's I just good to get a shout out on you thing.
Wonderful. Tell us about a day in the life. Okay, this is your full-time job, right? Like your sauna, you wake up, sauna's on your mind. How far do you live from where you're sitting right now? And I know there's probably no typical day, but kind of walk us through what life is like for you day to day.
Yeah. So especially not like we've really kind of kicked up a gear in the last 6 months, a year. So I maybe getting overly personal here, but yeah, I used to live in South London. I split with my partner last year, and now I got to move just 5 minutes walk from from the site. So
Okay.
I'm really living that bachelor life, working just right every
Right on.
day and walking to work and across both sites. And but a day in the life for me, we now have 40 to 50 people that are associated or work for us. So there's a lot of people stuff. I'll be probably on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll be dealing with site maintenance people, dealing with the finance side of things, and then we'll also be talking to new sites and councils, like trying to open in South London. I'll be dealing with a lot of communication,
Yeah.
a lot of WhatsApps and emails, which is like being quite, which has been quite like a lot to kind of deal with from like waking up 6 a.m. We'll have sites running all the way till 11 p.m. So I'll be receiving messages all day long.
So just a pause on that, Charlie. So if I could kind of distill your how you fill your day, which sounds like there's no problem to do that. It sounds like half of it is operations with many employees and all of the runnings of that, staffing, people and organize that, and then not to be simplistic, but this other half of what you're doing is a lot of organizational stuff around growth and future sites and permissions and all of that. Is it that simple? Two parts of Charlie?
Yeah, so there's that, and the third bit of what I've been doing this weekend. It's Easter weekend, obviously, and there's people away. So, and we've started a new site in Peckham. So I spent the last 3 days basically being doing like the hands-on shift work in Peckham and supporting our staff, because whenever we open a new site, there's always a bunch of like problems and things we've got to solve and stakeholders to deal with. So I've been lighting fires, greeting guests today and yesterday and the day before, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, man.
But for me, as you say, it's that growth bit. We're in this amazing site, but if we want to make an impact, we need to grow and have new partners and to kind of like get the message out, and that requires me talking with people and doing those kind of growth based activities.
Right. So let's wrap up. Are you cool? I mean, I'd love to talk more. Or do you want to just a couple of rapid fire questions? Wrap up. I want you to pick.
Yeah. Let's. So I'm going to pick the questions.
Well, I could ask you a couple. First of all, how can people find it's Community Baths? Is that the overriding name, or is it what is the name?
So if you Community Sauna is the name, but I suppose there's a few popping up. So Hackney Community Sauna is going to be the best way to find it.
Is it just Google that? Google Community Sauna.
Google that.
Great.
Yeah, community-sauna.co.uk.
Great. And this is where people can dive in, see some photos, get a concept of where it's at, and book a sauna session, right?
That's it. And there's our Instagram as well, which people can see some of the events we do and some of the kind of like give a flavor of our sites. So yeah, you'll be able to find it there as well.
Great. And to find you on Instagram would be?
I think it's Community Sauna Baths. That's our handle on Instagram.
Community Sauna Baths on Instagram. Great. Where would you like to bring this? A sauna, we call it butts on the bench, or the idea of reservation. Like, where in the globe, would you like to do an outpost, if you will? We talked about Normandy and how exciting that is. Does a place around the world come to mind? For me, the place I want to be the most is Southeast London. That's not super exotic. That's been my dream since starting this project. So that's a boring answer. But where else? All the other places have got like the Finland, Japan, like the exciting places. They've already got their own culture. But for me, like getting spots into like urban environments in London where I grew up, that's the most exciting, and especially Southeast London where it's super underrepresented. This sort of experience. I love the answer, and just to take this sauna talk full circle, I imagine you growing up enduring one of those electro saunas after a tennis match, and who knew that you would be doing what you're doing today and bringing good heat and the colds to people. Every day is a new day for people to discover this, Charlie.
Every day, and like I think we've taken over 100,000 people through our sauna since we started now. So like I can't believe that, to be honest. Really, what an outrageous turn of events for my life. But yeah, 100 to bring nice heat and nice cool to that many people, and also the health and well-being benefits and the happiness I've seen it bring people and myself at times. That's such a privilege to be in this space.
On that note, I just want to thank you for not just what you're doing, but ability to visit with me on this day. Charlie, thank you so much. And I'd love to get on the bench with you soon. And I have a hunch we're going to make it happen, brother.
Yes, very nice to chat, Glenn.